Hi, it's Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa. Welcome to my video on Stencil Sunday on my YouTube channel and on our playlist with collaboration with Funky Junk Inspiration, Kristi, and Mary at the Painted Peach on here this Stencil Sunday. Excited to have you here. Today I'm going to do a stencil project with a vintage truck. So I'm starting off with a 8x8 panel, canvas or wood panel, and I'm using Valspar antiquing glaze as my background. And I started with going across the grain, and that was wrong. So I'm going with the grain. So I'm just putting this on a little bit because I am going to cover it up with another paint. I'm using Pebble from Fusion Mineral Paint. I'm wiping it on with a baby wipe, and I dry it, but I don't really like it. It didn't do as much as I wanted, so I'm going to add a little more with a brush and give it a little more background, a little better background. And that way you only see a little bit of the Valspar, but you see that darkness. And then I'm going to use Stencil from Essential Stencils from Country Roads Take Me Home. I'm putting on a combination of brown and black paint, regular Deco Art paint. And I want to also use a shadow effect. So I'm going to put that stencil back down after it's dry. And I'm going to move it a little bit to the top. Well, there I'm going to fix parts that weren't done. Move it up a little bit to the top and then over to the left, and so that I can see a little bit of white in there. And I'm going to put this Pebble back on. I'm using that same color of Pebble on the top, so you have a background kind of a shadow effect. And then I have transfers from the truck, transfers from Essential Stencil, and I have a big little scraper, so I got my little one out because I didn't need that big one. Just using a small truck here. I love these truck transfers. I'm going to use all of these this year, without putting them in a bin to use for later, because they're hard to keep fresh, and so you want to use them when you get them. Anyway, I love this truck. It's rusted. I'm going to put that on the bottom there. I'm going to burnish it a little bit with the top of that to make it great. Now I'm going to take another stencil from Essential Stencil, and I put those at the end of the video. And I'm going to use some spackling. I'm going to get some spackling out, kind of move it around to make it softer on the lid there. And then I just use a palette knife and put that on in a couple of places on this board, wiping off the excess of the side. It gives it a little texture. Now, I didn't color this. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think because it was so stark white that I wanted it to be a little bit more like the color. So I went ahead and dried it, and I'm going to use my stencil brush with my Pebble on it from Valspar, or excuse me, from Fusion Mineral, and I'm just going to dab at that and put a little color of that Fusion Mineral on there, of that Pebble on each one of those. You just see me dabbing a little bit so that I can get that color so it's not so stark white. And there you go. There is my stencil project for today. It looks great. I love it. Here is the stencil. This is Country Roads and the Elegant Damask Trio. Thank you to Kristi from Funky Junk Inspiration and Mary at the Painted Palette. I'm Jeannie from Clifton's Crafty Casa. Thanks for joining me.